You're listening to the Flow Theory Podcast.
Hello there, Flow Theory Podcast listeners. I'm Wade Peary, and if you enjoyed part one of our interview with Kalvin Big Play McRae, pull up a seat and butter your popcorn, because here is part two. Wanted to talk to you about Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith he had 474 plays from scrimmage in 2007, and he had 2,809 scrimmage yards and 30 TDs. Talk to me about like what type of a beating Kevin Smith took in his college football career.
Man, I can only imagine, because I know what my body went through. I couldn't imagine having that many carries, If you talk about a position that you're damn near getting hit every play, and I think that's a credit to his durability, man. So, obviously he was doing something to take care of his body and take care of himself, to keep himself on the field. But I can only imagine, man. I'm talking about, I think the most carries I had in the game was like 42. And I remember after that game, I was like, Jesus Christ, man, where's the ibuprofen, man? Just somebody carried me to the bus. So I can only imagine the beating he took. But again, it goes back to clearly he had taken care of his body in the offseason and done whatever he needed to do to get himself prepared, man. Anytime you can rush for 2,000 yards, you're doing something right. So I can only imagine, man. And I kind of think, if I'm not mistaken, he came out early. He actually got drafted in that Detroit Lions class with Landon Cohen, who we talked about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that might be one of the reasons he didn't have a lot of longevity in the league, man. That wear and tear on your body, it's hard, man. As you can see, most teams in the NFL and even in college, they're going to have 2 or 3 running backs,
Right.
And that was like, even in 2007, you didn't see that as often. I can remember talking to Coach Alvin and him saying he wants a back that he can have on the field at all 3 down, But again, on the flip side of that, shit, you end up taking a beating, man. Your body, I feel more stuff now, just aches and bruises and pains. I get out of bed and it sounds like somebody walking on an old wooden floor, all the creaks and cracks when I get out of the bed in the morning. Like shit is just popping and clicking and clacking. And it's like, damn, it catches up with you, man. It catches up with you after a while.
Yeah, you had the 7th most plays from scrimmage in the country that year in 2007. You had 323 plays from scrimmage in 2007.
Damn, I never knew that. That's crazy. And when you look back on it, it's like, it's cool. It's fine because you want to be on the field. You want to be on the field. You want to be out there helping your team. You want to be doing whatever you can to get this win and be there for your teammates. But looking back on it, like, damn, that's a lot of plays, man. That's a lot of plays.
Yeah, that is a lot of plays, man. And I'm rattle off for you some of the guys from the 2007 running back class was just one of the most iconic. Like, this is crazy. This is a crazy stat.
It was crazy.
Three guys from the running back class of 2007 all had over 390 plays from scrimmage. Kevin Smith, Ray Rice, and Matt Forte. That's absolutely fucking ridiculous for 3 guys in one season to have that volume of touches.
So the 2007 running back draft class is fucking nuts. And I can remember being at the combine. The combine was one of the most stressful, enjoyable experiences I ever had in my life. But, you're going by alphabetical order. I'm sandwiched in between Darren McFadden and Rashad Mendenhall. And I can remember we're standing in line, we're getting ready to get our height and weight and hand size. And the cameraman, he puts it on Darren McFadden. And they, obviously the people back in the studio talk about McFadden. He kind of drops the camera, walks past me, and picks it up and goes right to Rashad Mendenhall. I'm like, fuck, man, let me lean back in the camera so I can give me some TV time while I was on Rashad Mendenhall, man. But that draft class was crazy. It was crazy. And majority of those dudes that came out were underclassmen. Right. Kevin Smith, Darren McFadden, Rashad Mendenhall,
Jonathan Stewart, LaShawn McCoy.
Dude, boy, listen. Then you talk about, you still had Chris Johnson. You still had Matt Forte. Justin Forsett went on to have. Justin Forsett was my roommate at the combine. He went on to have a really good career. That class was loaded, man. It was a lot of talent in that class.
Talk about Chris Johnson's 40-yard dash. He had the absolutely wasn't that the combine record that year?
Yeah, it was the combine record that year. I think Ross, one of the dudes, just broke it. So they kind of, you warming up. It's Chris Johnson. He was Jay. So you warming up, and I'm getting ready, and you look over, and he takes off, and you're like, damn. That was the common word used around the running back group watching him run. It's damn. And there's no clocks in there, so you can't see what he's running. You just knew it was real fucking fast. And clearly it was. He held that record for a few years, man.
What he run was a low 4.2s, right?
4.2s, yeah, 4.2s. And in my mind, I'm like, shit, he's running 4.2s. Now I got to come out here with my 4.6. What the hell am I going to do? Let me borrow some of that speed, man. It's like, let me see if I can get him to run for me. So we can trick these folks and let him run for me, man. But I think that adds to the, I don't know if you want to say mystique or whatever of that draft class, though, man. Those dudes, that was a really, really good running back class.
Yeah, talk about like all the different things you had to do like during the combine week in Indianapolis. Like what parts of the process were the most stressful for you? So
it's funny because when Bond was going through, he was getting ready to go to the combine. I kind of tried to give him a heads up, like, hey, this is what you're going to go through. And I don't know if it's changed now, but when I went through like that first day, it's like medical exams. You have to be seen by all 32 team doctors. So you go into this room, right?
Mm-hmm.
You give the doctors your folder. And one of the first things they do is they say, list all the injuries you had. You know what I mean? You list all your injuries, serious or not. They just want to know. You list your stuff, and you go in and you sit on this table, and there's somebody, the doctor from the Titans is pulling your shoulder. The doctor from the Steelers is pulling your knee. It's like, what the fuck is going on? You leave that room, you go to another room, and the doctor from the Cowboys is checking the back of your neck, and the doctor from the Chiefs is checking your ankle. So you go through and you eventually get seen by all team doctors. I made it through all of that. No issues, right? At this point, I'm tired as fuck. I'm ready to go back to the room. Well, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers wanted me to get MRI on my back. And I said I had lower back pain. So that took like another 2 hours out of my night. I had to go sit in this machine for an hour to get an MRI on my back. And I never heard from the Buccaneers throughout the whole process.
Did they have the machine at Lucas Oil Fieldhouse?
No, I had to go to some clinic. They put me in a van with some other dude, and we went to this clinic. And you do your thing, and they take you back. I think one of the most intense moments I had at the combine. So they give you this keychain, your lanyard or whatever, and they have this thing on the back of this team that requested interviews with you. So the Cowboys had requested an interview with me. And I'm talking to some old white dude. I don't even know who he was. He's like, Kalvin, man, I really, really like you. Just go in there, be calm, do well with the interview. If it were up to me, we would definitely draft you. I'm like, cool, I don't know you, but I appreciate you going to bat for me. You know what I mean? So I go in the room, and they blow these air horns. You walk in the room, and I introduce myself. I can't even remember who the hell head coach was at the time. I think Jason Garrett was still the OC. So you shake hands. I introduce myself.
Jason Garrett for the Cowboys?
Yep.
God, talk about one of the biggest pussies in the NFL, dude. I cannot stand Jason Garrett. I will go on record to say that Jason Garrett is one of the biggest pussies in the National Football League. I've never seen a coach in my life do so little coaching, but somehow keep his job. Jason Garrett would literally just clap his hands on the sidelines, just do nothing but clap his hands. Never talk to Zeke, never talk to Dak, never yelled or anything. Just clapped his hands because all Jason Garrett was a puppet of Jerry Jones, and he just did whatever the fuck Jerry Jones told him.
That's hilarious, man. That's hilarious. Oh, my God. So you walk in this room, and then when they blow the L horn, they blow the air horn. The second time, that's when the interview starts. So I've already met these coaches. They got the whole offensive staff and whatnot. And the horn goes off, and I'm like, all right, we're getting ready to go. And boom, right out the gate, the dude says, hey, when's the first time you smoked weed? I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, it threw me off because I'm thinking we're about to talk football. Man comes out like, when's the first time you smoked weed? I'm like,
like Denzel and Training Day? When's the first time you smoked weed, dog?
I'm like, man. So I'm like, nah, I don't smoke, cool. And boom, we go right into football stuff. It was so random. They asked that question. I guess they were trying to throw me off, which they fucking succeeded doing that. So then, you go into the part where they're like, draw up your favorite running play. I draw it up. Drop your favorite pass protection. I do that. Boom. They draw one of their plays. They show me what everybody's doing, right? They say, give me the name of the play. So I got like 1 minute to look at this play. They erase it and say, now draw this play back for me.
Jesus, dude. That sounds impossible.
What the hell?
Good God.
What the hell?
I would have failed the shit out of that test, bro.
It wasn't overly complicated, but after being thrown off like that, and then you got to do this, you're like, oh, shit, man. And the whole time you're trying to draw the play and remember, somebody's in the background like, what's the name of this play again? Like, man, that shit. It felt like a tornado. A tornado was going off in that room. When the air horns went off, it spit me back out. And I stood in front of that door for like 2 minutes. I just had to get my shit back together before I can go back to my room, man. It was super intense.
Kalvin, did I ever tell you about the time that I did some work for some agents in, one agent in particular, I wrote some like NFL draft profiles for him. And then he flew me to Indianapolis, right? So like, I didn't know anything about the NFL agent game, right? I was just like, all right, I'll write these profiles for you. You know what I mean? But it was stupid as shit, bro, because those agents, all they want to do is doctor up those stupid profiles to make their their client look good. It's the biggest bunch of bullshit. It's like, you guys actually think that shit works? Hey, let me tell you what works. Putting good film on the field, man. Like, that's all there is to it. Like, those agents, like, they're just delusional, thinking doctoring all those profiles is going to fucking fool someone into taking your client. It doesn't work like that, guys. Sorry.
It most definitely doesn't, man. You talk about the combine, man, and just NFL scout. Well, you would like to think it's one of the most thorough interview processes. You got film, you get to sit down and talk with these people. But at the same time, the combine has gotten people a lot of money and they've done nothing on the field. There was a D lineman out of Ohio State a few years ago, and I can't remember his name. He went to the combine, he tested freakishly well. Went in the first round to the Jets, did nothing in the NFL, So I don't know, man. It is crazy to think that you would think that the film would speak for itself, but obviously some of that profile shit works.
I love watching the combine because it's football, and I love the gauntlet drill. The gauntlet drill is, to me, one of the best drills in football. And by the way, it looks fucking impossible because you got balls flying at you from all different directions.
Everywhere, man. It's crazy. The combine, man, the on the field stuff was the easiest stuff to do. You know what I mean? That's just cool. But it's like a meat market, man. And so you got a line full of dudes and just their compression. No shirt, no shoes, no socks. You damn near walk up on stage like it's an auction block. They say your name, Kalvin McRae, running back at Ohio University, 5'9", 204, hand size is this. And now you step up there with no shirt. Hey, just to be completely honest with you, that shit seems like a slave auction to me. Because when you step on that stage, everybody, because there's like bleachers out there and all the coaches sit in it, and they're looking at you and they're just writing stuff down. You know what I mean? That shit made me real. That part of it made me real uncomfortable.
Yeah, I could see a lot of guys not liking the weigh-in part for sure. I mean, because you're like half-ass naked in front of like a bunch of random strangers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and they're like, it's like they're like, ooh, yeah, I like that about him. That shit was just weird to me, man. That's probably the weirdest part of it.
Have you ever, Bruce Feldman, I don't think he works with ESPN anymore, but there's a book called Meat Market that he wrote a long time ago about the college football recruiting, or I think it's college football recruiting process. I haven't gotten to read it, but you mentioning Meat Market kind of made that pop into my head.
Yeah, that's what it was to me, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. What are some other funny stories from the combine? I'm always fascinated to hear like the behind the scenes of those. Like, were there any guys that you got to hang out with at the combine and shoot the shit with and things like that?
Not really, man. Not really. Because you're there. It's business time. I can remember taking my drug test, though. You had to pee in the cup. And this dude is talking to me the whole time I'm peeing, but he's also just looking at, he's looking at me pee. He's looking at my dick.
He's watching you pee and he's sizing you up, Kalvin.
He's having this conversation with me. He's like, yeah, man, Ohio, man, Frank told me she took some good running back. And I'm like, still trying to pee. Like, dude, come on, man. This is uncomfortable, man. And
the guy's talking to you. I would never be able to talk to a random guy while I'm trying to pee.
That's what I'm telling you. He's having a casual conversation, and after it was all said and done, he looked at my cup. He's like, "Hey, you need to drink some water." I'm like, "Dude, get the fuck out of here, man! All right, come on, man. You've already looked at my meat the whole time I was peeing. Now you're gonna tell me now you're telling me I need to drink some water, man. Like, come on, dude, let me get out of here." But you didn't really have time to hang out with dudes. You were there. You either had me. It was sun up, and when you were done with everything, you were just ready to go to sleep and just relax and get ready for the next day. So no stories like this. I'll give you one before the combine when I played out in the Hula Bowl, man.
Let's hear.
So I flew out a day after everybody, and
this is Honolulu, Kalvin.
Yep, this is in Honolulu. So you're talking about I probably had like 10 hours of travel time because I flew from Jacksonville to Atlanta to LA to Honolulu. So I get to my room and it's probably, I don't even know what time it was, but it's late. And I'm like trying to get in my room, but the door, like I put the key in, but they actually have the door locked. And somebody comes to the door and they're like, "Yeah, what's up? What's good?" I'm like, "Man, this is my room." Like, "All right, give me a couple of minutes." So they closed the door, and at this point, I'm like, I've been traveling all day. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all doing? I'm like ready to get in the room. So as soon I get ready to knock on the door to see what was going on, the door opens up. Ray Lewis is standing in the doorway.
Jesus Christ,
and I immediately,
dude.
I immediately go from pissed to like low key fanboy because it's Ray Lewis. You know what I mean? And although I'm trying to get to the level he's at. This is somebody I watched my whole life. I watched him do his thing for years. I watched him kill people, and I'm a huge fan. I'm like, Turns out his brother, who played at Maryland, played running back at Maryland, was my roommate out of Hawaii. So he was just in there kicking it with his brother, man. But I went from getting pissed like, all right, man, like open the damn door, man, I'm tired, to immediately went into fanboy mode, like, oh shit, Ray Lewis is standing right in front of me, man. Cool dude, man. Cool dude, to be honest with you.
Talk about one of the all-time greats in the game, Kalvin. What are your thoughts on the Ray Lewis case, Kalvin? Curious.
The murder deal?
Yeah.
I don't mean to laugh. I don't mean to laugh because obviously somebody lost their lives.
No, it's all right. It's all right, man.
It's I'm trying to word it properly, man. I think he definitely learned something from that situation, and I think he learned that you have to be careful who you have around. You know, man, when you look at celebrities and their run-ins with the law, it's like, us as fans can tend to let some things slide because we love them for what they can do on the field. You know what I mean?
Right.
Who knows? I couldn't tell you what actually happened that night, because I wasn't there. Ray knows what happened. I do think, and that happened in Atlanta because I remember that. I'm from Decatur, so I remember that.
Right.
I think the lawyers went about it wrong. They just saw Ray Lewis, big name dude, was going after him, and it kind of killed that case, But with that being said, the man went on to have a great career. I definitely think he learned from that mistake, and I'm happy he was able to finish out his career, man, because he gave us some of the best football, some of the best linebacker plays we've ever witnessed in football.
One of my favorite Ray Lewis moments. It's really random. I'm not sure if this is anyone else's favorite Ray Lewis moment, but Chad Johnson goes across the middle and Ray Lewis absolutely fucking destroys him. And Chad Johnson goes back to the sideline. He goes, I tried to get Ray. He goes, but Ray got me first. Ray got me good.
I remember that one. Man, we give a shout out to Ocho Cinco, man. That dude, shout out to Chad. He was one of the most entertaining dudes to ever play the game, man. And was a wizard with his footwork, man. The way he could stop and come in and out of routes. Man, you got to show love to Chad, man.
Yeah, and Chad Johnson was as much of a showman as he was an actual player. I mean, the game kind of needs guys like that. I think there's guys that are like really old school and they say, well, you need to just hand the ball to the referee. I say, fuck it. Let the boys dance and have some fun. I'm all about end zone dances, man. I'm curious, who are some of your favorite end zone dances? What?
You talk about the NFL, man. How can you try to put a leash on dudes in the NFL?
Yeah.
But to answer your question, growing up in Atlanta, man, the Falcons made that Super Bowl run, and they eventually got beat by the Broncos in that Super Bowl. But Jamal Lewis doing a dirty bird. Jamal Lewis had the whole city of Atlanta doing a dirty bird, man. The whole city. Because he was so excited because Atlanta was terrible. Atlanta was a terrible football city for years before Michael Vick showed up and they consistently started playing well. And those dudes, man, in the middle of traffic, somebody would get out of their car on Memorial Drive and start doing a dirty bird. Like, crazy, man. I'm trying to think of any others. If I had to go with one now, because it's the city, man, Jamal Anderson and the Dirt Bird, man. Shout out to the Falcons for that one.
I tell you what, man, Mike Tolbert has had some epic end zone dances over the year, bro. Yeah. I love he gets the pelvic thrust in there. It's great, bro. Mike Tolbert, he cracks me up, bro. He's had some of the best end zone dances.
He's a bowling ball, man.
Have you ever seen Brandon Jacobs with the sprinkler?
Shit, do I remember that? Brandon Jacobs was a big dude too. No, I don't know if I remember that one.
God, I'm trying to think of some other ones. Go ahead.
I wasn't huge. It's me. I wasn't huge on dance, but I love Cam with the Superman opening up the chest. You know what I mean? I love Cam Newton handing the ball to the kids. Shit like that is what I appreciate. I'm not a dancer, but I don't dislike it. You know what I mean? I'm just more so up for, all right, something simple. And then maybe hand the ball to a kid, man.
I love it, man. I think that the touchdown dances are just an epic part of the game. And to me, like, it took the NFL owners so fucking long to relax that. It's like, guys, take that stick out from your ass. Like, my God. They should have done that a long time ago, dude. Have you ever seen highlights of the old USFL? That was some of the most epic football ever, and they were dancing. The crowds were storming the field.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But you think about NFL owners, and what do you really have? You got old white dudes. You know what I mean? You got old white dudes. How many of them are going to be able to relate and understand why these athletes want to dance and celebrate after they score a touchdown?
Yeah, it's
I think once they need to get fucking younger owners. That's what they need to do.
Yeah,
get some black owners in there too.
It's pretty stupid that it took them this long to realize that, hey guys, we need to let the players dance. Like, it took you that long to realize, like, sports at the very essence are supposed to be fun. Like, you shouldn't need this long a time to, like, not be throwing flags all the damn time. Like, come on. There's a reason they call it the no fun league, because all you want to do is fucking find someone for a hit. You want to find them for a stupid end zone dance because they wear the wrong fucking socks or the wrong fucking shoes. Like, God, let the men suit up and play some goddamn ball.
It's your boy Roger. It's your boy Roger Goodell. Roger Goodell might be the most negative thing that happened to the National Football League. That dude become a commissioner. And if you get a chance, I promise you, Mike Mitchell will fucking rip Roger Goodell apart. If you ever get a chance to talk to him.
Oh, trust me.
Mike, I think Mike hates Roger Goodell.
Trust me, I've reached out to him. Hey, Dave Portnoy's throwing a fuck Roger Goodell party. Shout out to Dave Portnoy. Hey, I want a front row seat to that party, Dave, because I'm fucking there, big dog. Yeah. Fuck Roger Goodell.
Yeah. Dude, it's just, come on, man. When you look at the NFL, all the things they say they're doing as far as safety for the league is BS, man. It's BS. Because if you were to go back and look at all the workers' comp cases filed by the NFL, you would go, wow, they don't want to pay that money. So now, you know what I mean? It's not about the player safety, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, Calvin. I agree 110%.
It's about them not wanting to pay money, man. And now you ruin the game. I feel bad for defenders. I feel bad for defenders. I feel bad for offensive players too now, because you can't hit high, it's going to be a flag. Well, when you hit low, you're more prone to get injured.
Right, ACL. Would you rather have your ACL done or a concussion?
And that's these guys' livelihood. So it's like, what the fuck do we do? It's almost to the point to where, all right, let's either play two-hand touch or let's play flag football. You can't hit anybody anymore. It's ridiculous, man. And for years, the NFL was advertised as a gladiator sport. Why did you go to the game? You wanted to see big hits, Look at the old NFL highlight film.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the day. Dick Buckers, Mike Singletary, those days.
Hey, Ronnie Lott. God, Ronnie Lott could fucking hit, man.
This is what the league was advertised on for years. Now, all of a sudden, you want to stop it. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's bullshit, dude. And I cannot stand all these owners preach player safety. It's like, you guys are tacking on an extra game. You guys don't give a fuck about player safety. If you gave a fuck about player safety, you would not be tacking on another game. The extra game is completely unnecessary. And I'll fucking say that 50 million times if I have to. It is the stupidest shit ever. God. NFL owners.
If you cared that much about them, you'd also pay them. Like the NFL, the most brutal sport when it comes to what it does to your body.
I agree.
And don't get me wrong, they're getting paid a lot of money.
Right.
But that money is also taxed. They get taxed like crazy.
They get taxed in every state. Did you know that?
In every state they put. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, with my little check that I got, it's fucking cut in half. I'm like, what the hell is going on? But it's the most taxing on your body, but they're making the least amount of money.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that, Calvin. In terms of the percentage of money, like the NBA players versus NFL, it's like the NFL players are making peanuts compared to the other leagues. You're 100% right. I totally agree.
And in the
They
NBA,
need more
and if I'm
guaranteed
not mistaken,
money. That's what they really need.
That's what I was going to say. There's NBA, MLB is guaranteed money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. Fucking Alex Rodriguez is like still getting paid from the Rangers, I want to say. You know what I mean? Baseball is crazy. That's his own thing. But if they cared that much about the players, you wouldn't be like Dak wouldn't be having to threaten to hold out. You know what I mean? He would get paid. Like, pay these dudes so they can take care of their families. Because their life career span isn't very long in the NFL.
Right.
Running back.
Average lifespan of an NFL player is what, 3 years, right?
Yeah. And then so the lifespan is short. They're getting taxed on top of, just these dudes are just trying to provide for their families, man. Pay them if you care that much. Forget all these franchise tags, man. Just pay the people what they're worth. You're making the money.
Yeah, I totally agree, Calvin. I want to talk about another injustice in the NFL. We're going to talk about the Ray Rice situation. I thought Ray Rice got completely blackballed by the NFL, and no one wants to come out and say this, but I'll completely go on record and say, okay, listen, I'm not condoning violence against women, not in any way, shape, or form. But you know what? Ray Rice got fucked, and no one wants to say it. The NFL blackballed Ray Rice so they didn't have to deal with the PR hit. Like, it was the biggest bunch of bullshit ever. Ray Rice was still good. He deserved another shot, and it was total garbage, dude. To this day, I thought Ray Rice got completely screwed.
I mean, I'm all for. I'm with you. I never condone hitting a woman, and I'm all for protecting black women. And but here's what I'll say: the NFL needs to be very selective in who they give second chances to. I know Ray Rice said something about that. I mean, you talk about mistake or not. Dante Stallworth killed somebody.
Yeah.
He hit a person with his car, drug driving, killed him, and was able to come back in the league. Shout out Pac-Man Jones, Atlanta dude. How many chances did Pac-Man Jones get in the league? I don't understand why Ray got the treatment he did, but I'm with you, man. I felt like he should have got a second chance, especially when that tends to be, the American way. Like, all right, you screw up. Like, who doesn't like a good redemption story? All right, he made his mistake. Like you said with Michael Vick, he made his mistake. He did the time. He devoted so much time and energy to Peter, and he got another shot. Ray Rice, for whatever reason, didn't get that shot, man. I do feel like he should have. I think he was. I definitely know he learned from it. But that is a real good question, man. I couldn't tell you why Ray Rice got the treatment he did, man.
Well, I have my theory on it. I think it was because the video was out there. I think if people had not seen the video, there wouldn't have been anywhere near the public outcry, and people wouldn't have been bitching about, what an awful person Ray Rice is. All right. You know what I mean? Like, this is my thing with Ray Rice. All right. It was one of his first offenses. Like, Ray Rice is a way better person than people are going to give him credit for. All right. Okay. All right.
I agree.
He made a huge fucking mistake. Okay. But how many of us have made mistakes in lives? It's just such bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, look yourself in the mirror before you treat Ray Rice like a piece of shit. Ray Rice deserved a second chance. And God, man, that guy got fucked over so bad.
Yeah, you're right. That video, it was hard to watch that video, though. It was. You think about Ray Rice being an NFL player, so he's stronger than his now wife, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
You're right, man. I think seeing that video just put people in a really tough spot, But not a point thing is you look at what happened with Joe Mixon, that was on film too, and it looked terrible, but he still got a shot, So for whatever reason, Ray Rice just kind of he got the example made out of him, man, and it sucks.
Yeah.
That's for him, definitely.
I mean, Ray Rice, one of the greatest running backs in college football, and I don't think he's going to be in the NFL Hall of Fame, but goddamn, he had some really good years in the NFL. I don't think he's quite Hall of Fame worthy, but Jesus, that guy was insane. Greg Schiano rode that guy till the wheels fell off at Rutgers. God.
We played them, man. You that game I was telling you I missed that block and Coach Sola yelled at me. Ray Rice was on that rookie team.
I remember that. Did they have?
Yeah.
Did that team had Tequan Underwood and Kenny Britt?
That I can't remember.
Yeah, I know.
Underwood. I think Underwood may have been on that team. I don't know about Britt.
Dude, I remember Tequan Underwood at Rutgers, dude. Yeah. That guy was so good. Yeah. Jesus.
He was, man.
He was incredible, man. Tequan Underwood.
Muhammad Sanu, too.
They had Mo Sanu on that team?
Not on that team, but he's a Rutgers dude.
Yeah. Mo Sanu is, God, you talk about an incredibly gifted player. That guy can spin a goddamn spiral, can he? Jesus.
He can, absolutely.
And some of the passes he's thrown over the years, I mean, God, they are just gorgeous balls, man. Might want to tell. I was surprised they didn't tell Matt Ryan, hey, why don't you take practice off? We're gonna let Mo Sanu spin it all day in practice.
That's funny, man. That's funny. Matt Ryan was in that 2007 draft player too, Boston College.
Dude,
you know what? It's funny. I don't know if you remember, they had a running back, Andre Callender.
Yeah, Andre Callender was good, man.
You remember him?
Yeah.
He was at the Hula Bowl with me and ended up getting beat up. He got jumped in the bathroom, man.
What? Why'd he get jumped in the bathroom?
I couldn't tell you, man.
Jesus Christ, this is in.
I don't know, man. We were out that night. Dudes decided to go out. Something popped off, and they kicked us out of the spot immediately. They kicked us out of the spot, and all I remember is that next day being in the airport, seeing him on crutches. Like, oh damn, what happened, bro? He's like, hey man, they got me. He had went to the restroom by himself, and some people got him, man.
Jeez, that's awful, man. That's awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
What were the practices leading up to the Hula Bowl, Kalvin? Like, I mean, did you get to meet any of the other like college stars and stuff? I mean, like, what was that like being around all the college guys?
I think I think the Hula Bowl was probably your lower tier bowl. You know, obviously, Senior Bowl is there. Then you got the East West Shrine game. Then you got the Hula Bowl. Coach Zook, Ron Zook was our coach. And that was after Illinois had that really good year. They had Juice Williams at quarterback.
Juice Williams was a beast, and they had Aurelius Ben.
I believe so. And they had Mendenhall as a running back. Now, junior year at OU, we went out to Illinois and beat them. And you know, I remember being in Hawaii with Coach Zook in the elevator. He's like, yeah, man, I remember you. He was like, I remember you, man. You kind of ripped us apart last year. You know, I was like, congratulations, Coach, on the year. But the practices was sweet, man. Coach Zook kept it nice and sweet. He understood that, you know, you're here to showcase yourself, but you're also here to have a good time. Was able to go visit Pearl Harbor and just, you know, met Gene Simmons.
The guy from Kiss, right?
From Kiss, yeah, from Kiss.
That's funny. Did he do a pose for you, Kalvin? Did he unleash the tongue?
He did not, and thank God, because I did not want to see it. Want to see that shit. Nah, but you know, man, it was good, man. I think Coach Zook understood why we were there, and so you know, the West team, they were putting in work in practice, and we beat them pretty good, to be honest with you. But Coach Zook was solid, man. Practices were solid. Did get to meet some guys. I know some guys from Marshall. Met some guys for the Naval Academy, man, and just different places, Central Florida. It was people from everywhere. But it was good, man. I really enjoyed myself.
You know, Ron Zook was the coach that originally recruited Chris Leak to Florida.
Chris Leak.
Dude, Chris Leak, which leads me to my next topic. Dude, I will never forgive Urban Meyer for his treatment of Chris Leak because he treated Chris Leak like garbage. You know, it's like, I get it. Tim Tebow's your guy. He's your guy. Like, okay, get on your knees for Tim Tebow. That's awesome. And I get that, right? Like he won you 2 national titles. Like, I understand that. But to me, you need to show some love to Chris Leak. And not only that, don't treat Chris Leak like shit just because he can't run your scheme. Chris Leak was one of the best drop back passers of all time and threw one of the prettiest spirals in college football history. And Urban Meyer treated him like shit, as did Zach Smith. Those guys, you know, the way they treat Chris Leak, you wouldn't even know that Chris Leak went to Florida nowadays. Urban Meyer never noticed. He never mentions him publicly. Not only that, do you see any Chris Leak jerseys in any of the Florida stores? No, it's all Tebow. No. To me, if I'm Chris Leak, I'd be pretty pissed off about that. Quite frankly, he fucking won them a national title.
Dude, you know, but you're going to have that when a new coach is taking over and they want to bring in their guys. I think that's naturally going to happen. Funny story. I mean, funny thing is, I was out in rookie mini camp in Kansas City, and they had brought Chris Leak in for a workout. So I actually was able to catch balls from him, and I agree, do the prettiest spiral I've ever seen in my life, man. But Chris Leak was a good dude, I totally agree with you on they need to show Chris Leak a little bit more respect because he did some really, really good things down at Florida, man.
I'll never forget him out at Independence High School. You realize he had the national passing yardage record coming out of high school. Chris Leak did. That
was
guy.
That North Carolina, right?
What's that? Yeah, it was Independence. Yeah, Charlotte, North Carolina. Yeah, that kid. I remember it was back when they did like the ESPN Diaries with Tom Lemming, and I was glued to my computer screen. I will always love Chris Leak. I know we got in some sort of like trouble recently. I'm not even talking about that, but I love Chris Leak as a football player. Like the spiral that guy spun, like I'll forever love him. The way that guy used to spin a spiral, dude, it was like a ball machine. Like the ball coming out of his hand, dude. Like God, he was so much fun to watch, and I'll never forgive Urban Meyer for the way he treated him because, you know, I even talked to Zach Smith on the phone about that. And, you know, this is what Zach Smith said. He said that Urban Meyer would get pissed at Chris Leak because he thought that Chris Leak wasn't running the plays properly. It's like, you know what, dude? He's not a fit for that scheme. You know what I mean?
Which kind of goes back to that question. I guess it explains why I put Urban on my dislike coaches list.
I mean, this is my thing. I mean? This is my thing, right? Like, if you don't like the guy, like, you should have given him his papers to transfer. You know, if you're going to treat him like shit, be like, listen, Chris, this is probably not in your best interest. As opposed to, I mean, they really treat him like garbage. And quite honestly, like the whole Florida fan base, I don't know how they treat him in general, but to me, one of the more disrespected college football players I've ever seen. I mean, just totally unfair what happened to Chris Leak.
Yep, I agree, man. I definitely agree. Good dude, man.
Talk to me about Eugene Jarvis, man. I loved watching that play at Kent State. God damn, that kid could fucking run, dude.
Yeah, I mean, the MAC has produced a lot of good running backs. And he was one. Eugene Jarvis is one of them. Again, not a big dude at all, but just could run. And being on offense like him, I was able to sit on the sideline and just be able to see them do their thing, man. Just, again, one of those dudes had great balance, just had a really good skill set. And his focus on the way to use him properly, man. Definitely probably one of my favorite running backs at that time.
Who are some of your other favorite players that you liked watching in the MAC during your college career, Kalvin? I tell you, I'll be honest, man. MAC championship game, like straight up, dude. Dan Lefevre was a fucking dog, dude. Funny story about that MAC championship game, bro. I heard Coach Brown broke his headset that game, but it's like, dude, to be honest, I mean, Nick Saban said it best, Kalvin. You cannot defend a perfect pass. And Dan Lefevre threw perfect pass after perfect pass after perfect pass. I was just like, that whole fucking game, dude. I was just like, there's fucking nothing we could do, dude. Like, this dude's fucking dropping dives.
You're right. It was nothing we could do, man. And it's just one of those things like, all right, shit, I guess. Tonight's not our night, man. But thinking back on some of my favorite players, I think back to freshman year, man. Charlie Fry did his thing at Akron. Josh Cribbs at Kent State was amazing to watch.
You remember Josh Cribbs when he did that front flip into the end zone against us?
Yeah.
Dude, I was on the sideline that game. I was holding like the radio dish where you have to hold like the radio dish to collect the sound for radio.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow I was doing that day, and my hands were fucking freezing, Calvin. I could not feel.
Cold as shit.
I could not feel my hands that day, Calvin. But dude, I will never forget that performance by Josh Cribbs. Straight up, he ran for over 200 yards that game, Calvin.
He did. He ran for 2 and 2 for 2, man. Dude had over 400 yards for the offense.
Dude, he went fucking bananas that game, bro.
It was nothing we could do about it, man. So those two are definitely up there. Trying to think. There's Lance Moore. Lance Moore out of Toledo.
Lance Moore, the receiver from Toledo.
Yep. And he's a Columbus kid, man. Went to Westville South High School, if I'm not mistaken. Here in Columbus. But I think probably number one dude was Julian Edelman. And you got to remember, Edelman was playing receiver in college. He was playing quarterback in college. Looking at him, you would think nothing spectacular. I met him at Mac Media Day going into my senior year, and it was like, all right. But dude got on the field and just balled, man. Just balled.
Oh, yeah.
Balled at Kent State.
That guy was so hard to tackle. I'll never forget watching our defense try to tackle him. It was that weather was so bad that day, dude. It was windy as hell.
I hated it, man. So we go, you get to the stadium and it's like, all right, no, I think I'm talking to Taj, like, anything, you don't wear sleeves? Like, go out, like, it's cool. Like, all right, I don't have to wear sleeves. Right before we go back in the locker room after warm up, it was like the bottom fell out of the sky. Shit went black, started hailing a little bit, sleet. Any type of precipitation that could happen happened that day.
Oh yeah, it was hailing. Shit. I remember that in the middle of the fucking game, bro.
And we had that lightning delay, and I was like, thank God, man. This cold as fuck. I wanted to say, man, just call the game, man. I think we were winning at the time. Just call the game, let us get this victory. And let us get back to Athens, man. I was like, damn, I can remember going to Matt Moore and like, dude, can I get some more socks? I can't feel my toes. Damn, it was cold, man. That was a shitty game.
Oh, dude, that was some of the worst football weather I've ever been in, dude. Yeah. I got a funny story for you. This isn't even Ohio related, but I got a funny football story from me when I was little. Football wise, coldest weather I've ever been in my life. Right, I was at Virginia TCU, and I was probably like 11 or 12. This was the Independence Weed Eater Bowl back when Mike Groh was the quarterback for the Cavaliers, right? Yeah, it was. This was back in the day, bro. So anyways, it was like 19, I don't know if it was 95, maybe 96, something like that. Anyways, it was raining to where it was like 33 degrees and rainy. It was fucking freezing. Like I literally couldn't feel my toes or my hands. And so we go into the bathroom at halftime, bro. And my brother watches this Virginia fan at the stall, pissing all over his hands to warm his hands up, bro. He goes,
That's fucking disgusting.
Yeah. To this day, it's one of my favorite football stories of all time, bro.
Man. That is a good one, but that's nasty as hell.
I know. It's nasty as shit. It's like, it's funny because they had heaters in there too. And it's like, if you're going to piss on your hands, why not just put hot water on them, bro?
I think the coldest I've probably been in was 2009. It was my first year of high school coaching. And we make it to the state championship. And we're playing in Canton, Ohio. And I mean, it's cold. It's fucking cold, Wade. And our head coach at the time never wore pants. Whatever, regardless of the weather, he never wore pants. So we're getting ready to go out, and I'm putting on pants. And our offensive coordinator is like, "What are you doing?" And I look at him and I say, "You mean, man? It's cold as hell out there. I'm wearing shorts out there." And he says, "You haven't worn shorts all year. If you wear shorts tonight and we lose, what are you gonna do?" And instantly, athlete superstition, like, damn, I guess I can't wear shorts today. So I'm on the sideline. I'm cold as shit. I'm ashy. Like, I'm moving kids out of the way of the heater. Like, y'all get the hell out of the way. I need to stay warm. Luckily, we go on to win. And coincidentally, that was Glenville High School, and Cardell Jones was the quarterback that game. We played against Cardell Jones. But I just remember getting back to my phone in the locker room, and I think KP, Kenneth Pride, man, KP texting like, "What the fuck you got on shorts for, man?" I was like, "It's a long story, bro. Long story." He was like, "What the fuck you got on shorts for, and why didn't you put on lotion?" I was like, "Man, I did put on lotion, but it was cold. You just ashy, man. I can't help it, man." That's probably the coldest I've ever been for a football game.
That's funny, man.
Listening to the Flow Theory Podcast. You can listen to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and TuneIn.